Even short that.
Oh, come on. Let's go with Mr. Freeze or whatever. For 24 hours.
Do we have any online guests?
You would know.
You'll shut it down.
It was 25 and I don't think you could do it.
Well,
It's supporting.
okay. We're going to call the Monday, April 21st, 2025 Emmaus Borough Council meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's on his last letter.
I know, my wife's.
The guys from the veterans, but they tried to fix it.
All right, first up on our agenda is Personal Appeals Part 1. If anyone in the audience has a personal appeal, please approach the podium and state your appeal. Hearing none. Do any of our online guests have a public appeal? Hearing none. Does anyone have a community minute to bring forward?
I do.
Madam Mayor?
Okay. This Saturday, the 26th, is Drug Take Back Day at the police department. Bring in your unused prescriptions, your pills, just no lotions, liquids, or needles. It's also Earth Day out at the park, so we want to clean up. And on May 1st, we have another new business opening. We have Swine Design. They're located at 244 Main Street. The ribbon cutting takes place at 6 o'clock, but the event actually runs from 5:30 to 6:30. So anybody wants to come out and meet the new owners and see what they do, you're more than welcome to attend. Progress.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Anyone else? Hearing none. Tonight, we have Taylor Rojek from the Emmaus Arts Commission is going to give us a small presentation.
Hi, and I think you have a PDF from us as well. Is that okay? Perfect. So my name is Taylor Royak. I'm from the Emmaus Arts Commission. I'm here tonight to speak specifically about the mural program, and even more specifically, I'm seeking approval for the design that we have created for the mural at the snack bar at the pool. So if you look at pages 3, I believe it's page 3 of the thing that you have. Yes. Okay, so first of all, this is a mural that is going to be painted by volunteers in the community. It's going to kind of function the same way that the hex sign one did, where we are going to have the Department of Public Works prep the site. We are going to do kind of a paint by numbers situation where we, put out the skeleton or the outline of the shapes. And then we will have kind of a sign up thing where volunteers from the community can come. They are given the paints. We'll supervise, obviously, but they are going to fill in the areas on the mural. This one, so there's kind of 3 options here for the design that we've created. We were going for kind of this bright, summery, fun, graphic 70s vibe. So as you can see, it's oriented around waves to represent the pool. And then on the top, we have rays of the sun, alternating yellow and orange. So as far as the options go, we are going to be using leftover paint from the fire hydrant project for this. So we do need to kind of do a little bit of inventory to see exactly what colors we have available before we can fully decide on the colors. But our thoughts were that either we could do kind of 3 things. So number 1 would be the top color scheme, which is the yellow and orange sun's rays all around 3 sides of the building. Option 2 would be to go for a more sunset vibe. So you can see kind of that pinky purple around all 3 sides of the building. Option 3 would be to kind of split the difference between the 2 with the yellow and orange on one side of the building, pink and purple on the side of the building that's facing the park or the parking lot, and then have the other side that connects the 2 kind of be a gradient between the 2 where it shifts from that yellow and orange to the pink and purple. And all of these colors, this is kind of a I don't want to say it's a rough draft, but like the colors on here are not necessarily going to be 100% representative of what is able to go on the building because, as I said, we will be using leftover paint. So it's possible that they may be like tinted or slightly lightened depending on exactly what we have available. Does anyone have any questions that I can answer about this project?
What is your proposed timeline?
That's an excellent question, one that I meant to bring up. So we ideally would like to get this going before the pool is fully in use for the season. So we are hoping that early June, because the pool is not open during the week for early June. So we can have kind of those time slots like, or during the day rather. So like from 9 to 12 a.m., I believe, in early June, have that completed then before the pool is open, you know, kind of like full bore for the summer. And it, of course, depends on when the Department of Public Works is able to prep and that kind of thing. So
How long do you anticipate it taking to paint?
a couple days at most. It's a relatively small project. And one of the reasons that we did that kind of striped design is the construction of the outside of that building. It's kind of that like vertical slatting, which makes it very easy for people to come and like paint one slat this color, one slat this color, one slat this color. So it's going to be like, it's a relatively simple design for people to be able to paint. There's no like, you know, fine detail work. It's a lot of bigger areas.
It says to power wash, are you going to be power washing or do you need our department to power wash?
I believe that would be the Department of Public Works.
Okay.
But if that's not possible, I'm sure we can, you know, discuss.
What is the estimated time before it will need maintenance? How long will it last?
That's a really good question and one that I actually don't know the answer to. I know that we haven't done any touch-ups so far on the like the folk art inspired one, which I believe was done in 2020. If anyone wants to correct me on that, I'm open to it. I've only been on the Arts Commission for a year at this point, but we have not done any touch-up on murals at this point.
And that would be the intention, to touch it up versus paint over?
I mean, like I said, I've only been on the commission for a year at this point. So like, I'm not 100% sure how older murals have been handled up to this point. I think touching up does sound like a more efficient option, but you know, if there was some sort of thing where like, you know, one side of the mural is completely ruined for whatever reason, like it may be more efficient to paint over it. And in that case, like, I think that's something that we'd be open to as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. President, so I did some research and I know that this had come up last year in May of 2024 in regards to this design and so forth, but I don't believe it's ever been discussed in committee. And I'm kind of thinking the committee should look at it and make a full recommendation possibly and have discussion. It probably should be Parks and Rec, but it could be, I guess, CRD.
I think that's a very valid point I was going to bring up as well. I spoke to our borough manager a little bit, and this project was never approved out of any committee. The last couple murals that we did went through CRD. I would probably stay consistent with the CRD and then maybe let Parks and Rec look at it. I don't.
Is this time sensitive? And if so, which one meets first? Because I don't know.
CRD would. I think.
CRD is first.
Yeah, CRD would meet first, but then the other thing would be to make sure that
Even
Lawrence would
has
have time to prep the building and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we need to know that.
Do you know if this ever was an approved design by council?
I believe that the building itself was approved, But so there was some confusion among the EAC about like what the total approval process was. We originally believed that Borough Council had approval over which buildings and like what surfaces we painted on, but that the EAC had approval over the designs of the murals. So I know this was presented to you before, and it kind of got kicked back to us, and we're like, okay, like I think there's some disconnect about like how this process is meant to actually work. So that's why I'm here tonight, is kind of just talking about like bringing this design to you guys to make sure that this, meets the approval of Borough Council.
I'm going to say that I never heard about it on council, so it must have been at the committee level and not a committee that I'm on, which is quite possible because I'm not on CRD and I'm not on Parks and Rec. So I don't think that was brought before council, unless somebody wants to correct me.
I was curious, do you know if this mural design, if you consulted Tiffany Reed at all, or anyone who works down in the pool?
I'm not sure. I don't know Tiffany Reed. I'm sorry.
Okay, probably not.
Good, Nate.
So I was reminded with the one picture with the rays of sunshine. There was an email while we were on last year that it was submitted to the Parks and Rec Committee as an idea. And I don't think we really went through the full process. So it just sounds like tonight you're just throwing out an idea and then we'll go through the full process like everybody's saying.
Okay.
That's
And
what it sounds like.
okay, what should I expect from the full process then?
Then Mr. President will direct what committee to assign it to.
I mean, with Shane not here, I would assume all of our other murals went through CRD.
Well, we're supposed to. Yeah.
So I would think that would be the process to go through CRD. And then do you feel like it needs to be bounced back to Parks and Rec, or just let CRD?
I would think CRD is fine, right?
I think so. We're going to assign it to Kate Watts' committee, the CRD. She'll get this on her the next agenda. And then our next council meeting is May the 5th.
Be the 19th because your meeting is May 6th.
May 6th. Yeah, May 6th is our meeting.
So it would be the May 19th.
The May 19th meeting.
Sorry, the May 19th Borough Council meeting, or
That would be the Borough Council meeting. That's where it would be then.
Okay. Would it be helpful to have me
Yes.
here for that meeting, or
Probably, and also the CRD meeting as well.
Okay.
Because I'm sure that they're going to want to see some. If I were on the committee, I'd want to see some other ideas that you guys were considering explain how you got to this. And
Mhm.
I'm not saying that because I'm against this at all. We normally see a couple different presentations of what you guys were thinking and explain it and all that kind of stuff.
It would
Chris?
be, it would be best for you to be, I'm on CRD also, it would be best for you to be at that meeting because the CRD committee would be the one that would recommend it to council or not recommend it to council. So if I was you, I would be at the CRD meeting because that's where you'll have the most interaction back and forth.
Roy or Brent?
So I was just whoever said it, I think it was Shanna, that it might be beneficial to also speak to Tiffany Reed, who is she runs the pool and the snack stand. She is our manager there. She might have some input that, of what her thought process would. And I mean, I would definitely feel that her opinion, would matter here.
Oh, Brent.
You had mentioned that the leftover hydrant project paint is going to be used for this project. Why isn't the leftover hydrant paint being used for the next round of hydrant painting?
it's being used for that as well.
Is there that much extra?
From what I understand, like I haven't, I've said it multiple times, but like it's not like I've been around here for
Right.
a super long time. So I'm not 100% sure what kind of like backstock we have of this, but I am told that there is enough for both this project and for the next round of hydrants.
Do we know when the next round of hydrants is?
I believe it's like May, June sometime. I would have to double check on that.
Nice.
And lastly, have we been buying the paint for the hydrant projects or have they?
I think it's a combination of both, right?
I think so. I'm not 100% sure. I believe we had a grant. Maybe you'd have.
Yeah,
Again.
that would absolutely be
Those are all questions I think should be addressed
Yeah.
at the CRD if you can.
Okay.
I know in the past that we have bought the primer for the hydrants. I'm not sure about the colored paint.
Okay.
Uh, I don't remember. Taylor, do you have anything else for us?
That's it.
I really appreciate what you guys are doing in the
Mhm.
community and all of that. So I'm looking forward to seeing this when it's completed.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Just a
Brett?
real quick brief
Mhm.
piece. It was May of 2020, May 22nd of 24. The email of the renderings of this was
Mhm.
submitted. So just maybe go back to your emails and look. It was submitted to our Parks Director at that time, who's no longer with us.
Okay.
All right, so maybe go back and look, but it was May 22nd.
Was it
24.
Taylor that sent him or Lindsay?
Uh,
No,
it-
it wouldn't have been me.
I am
Yeah.
not 100% sure, but
She might not even be on the email.
Yeah, I'm not, but I can ask
anyway,
around.
that's when it was submitted.
Okay.
Give you a timeline.
Okay.
Can I ask one other question? Like, there's some really good information in here. Is there any other murals planned? I mean, I do see the Kiwanis one, which I know about because
Yeah. So the Kiwanis have approached us about doing a mural at the park across from the library. I'm not 100% sure the name of that park. There is not like we've, talked to them a little bit, but there's not like a concrete plan for like which building for what exactly the mural would be, like that kind of thing. So there's a little bit more legwork that needs to be done before we're kind of like bringing it here.
Okay.
Um,
if you need a contact for that, reach out to me. My wife's been working with someone at your thing for that. She was the president. She was previously the president for Kiwanis,
Okay.
so I can probably get her in contact with you and help if you need follow-up there.
Perfect. Thank you. All right.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have the reading of the minutes. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve April 7th, 2025
So moved.
council meeting minutes? Mr. Labenberg, seconded by Mr. Brown. Is there any additions, corrections? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? 7 ayes. We have no decision on bids. We have a few communications tonight. The first one is we had approved an event for a DECA, the hair salon, and they'd like to move the date to May 10th. And this is something that we approved before, and all that we'd have to do is approve that at that date. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve their switching of their date?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Baumgartner, seconded by Mr. Brown. Any discussion? Does anyone know if there's any other events on the triangle? Is that a conflict or anything that we know of?
You could amend the motion to say subject to conflict with the other events. If you wanted to.
Sure. I'll amend it that way.
Sorry.
Innate?
Yeah, it covers it. I mean,
Motion
listen, just hand-
motion amended. I don't think that there's anything on that date. I spoke with Shane. Everything seemed to be
Shaking her now, so she-
okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And then Madam Mayor will deal with all the street closings that she approved earlier. And then next up, we have two planning commission members seeking reappointment. We have a Mr. JP Raynock and a Josh Grice. JP Raynock's term would expire on April 1st of 29, and so would Mr. Josh Grice. Would anyone like to make a motion to reapprove JP Raynock for a reappointment on the planning commission for a 4-year term expiring April 1st, 2029?
So move.
Motion by
Second.
Mr. Brown, seconded by Mr. Anders. Any discussion?
Do they have to go through that same process now that we talked about last meeting where they get background checks and stuff because they're being reappointed?
Yeah, I would request that we add contingent upon a background check if they were not already checked.
So you can suitably amend that motion, but you did discuss that at the last meeting. What we didn't come on to was a policy as to existing members. This would be your first set of appointments since then. So you now are going to make that decision. I obviously I go to the planning commission meeting. So these gentlemen have been on it. I mean, Mr. Raynock has been on it from before I was solicitor.
Yeah.
But Mr. Grice has already been appointed for a term, so it's up to you how you want to handle this. You could just say subject to the background check or subject to prior approval. It's really a decision for you guys.
Mr. Solicitor, aren't typical background checks good for 5 years, I believe?
It
all
depends.
depends on what you
It
get.
depends on what type. Like FBI background checks are only good for a year. Police background checks are 2, and then there's some like more.
What about for something like this, though?
I was thinking that, I believe it's the child abuse one.
The child line one is good for 4 years.
Is
I
it 4?
think.
Okay. I knew it was
4 or
4 or
5.
5. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
think,
it just depends on the different types.
I know Shane said that we miss people, and I just think we should do everyone that we're appointing or reappointing.
And as long as you're consistent and you do it with everybody, it really does not cause concern from a legal perspective. So as long as it's just consistently done, if this is going to be your policy that everybody going forward gets a background check, then so be it.
I believe Shane said that there's no
is.
cost because our police are doing it, so we should
Yeah,
be.
there was no cost. The state does it for
can't hurt
free.
to add then.
Yeah.
My only concern would be is I know we have an upcoming planning commission meeting. I don't know if we'd have enough members if you don't
You
have
would, if there's only 2 being appointed, you should be okay. Because that would still put you, there's 7 members, this would be 5. You'd still have quorum and if everybody's there.
and would these folks still be able to participate then if they're not reappointed, or they would have to sit out? Because both of these people would have a lot to say about that act.
So the answer to that is they would not be, if they're subject to background check, if they don't get the background check done or get it approved, then they would not be appointed because you're making it subject to something.
I don't think either of them have anything to worry about.
I mean,
8th of May, so
they'd have 3 weeks.
we'd have
roughly.
3 weeks.
I mean,
Okay,
that's, and considering that the borough is doing it itself, as long as they just consent to it in writing, you should be okay.
I mean, if that's, what committee should that policy come out of, Gen Ed?
So I believe we have a policy already. If you listen to what Shane said, it's just that we haven't
We
been
just haven't been
following
doing it.
through on it. And he said we need to follow through on it. So it is a policy. We just haven't been doing it. It's state law, actually. It's not even have to be a policy. It's a state law. He said that last meeting.
Right,
It's
so-
required by the state.
Since we have, I guess the procedure here would be to table these 2 reappointments.
No, you just
No.
reappoint them contingent upon the
Contingent.
background.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what I was gonna say. I would
Just amend the
suggest that-
motion.
Yeah, amend the
Okay.
motion. Mr. Brown and Mr. Anders would have to amend the motion, subject to appropriate background checks being completed.
I will amend my motion.
Actually, Mr. Brown has to amend his motion. You were saying,
Thanks, Rick.
Oh, sorry.
I'll amend my motion.
I know, I'm a stickler,
Oh, the
right?
suspense of it all.
That's what happens when Shane's not here.
Yeah. Any further discussion?
Nate was holding out.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Borough Engineers Report, we have none. Mr. Solicitor,
No report progress.
thank you. Unfinished Business Part 1, we have none. New Business, we have none. Unfinished Business Part 2, we have none. Does anyone have an item that is not on the agenda they'd like to bring forward? Hearing none. Madam Mayor's report.
Thank you. In your iPads this evening, you have Proclamation 2025-612. It is in recognition of Arbor Day, which is this Friday, April 25th of 2025, and I will report progress.
Thank you. Starting off with committee reports, Public Works, Mr. Anders.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So we met April 7th here, and just one of the things I wanted to chat about. I know the residents are asking about our roads and UGI and the work they're doing and when we may or may not get paved. And when I asked about this, Shane and Lawrence, they reaffirmed that the roads will get repaved, but it'll be late summer, early fall when UGI will be able to pave over the strips where they've torn up the roads. And I think it's something that we should continue to let our residents know because it's a concern. And quite honestly, our roads are they're kind of crappy right now, to put it bluntly. So, you know, they are doing the work. The lines obviously have to be fixed for UGI. We don't, you know, we don't need any gas leaks around town. So, once they are done with that, they will be doing those pavements along with then we do have some projects that our public works will be doing as well, for some paving. So just wanted to bring that to attention. The rest of the meeting notes are there from our meeting. Our next meeting is on, excuse me, May 12th at 4:45, which will be in person and slash Zoom. With that, I'll report progress. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Thank you for bringing that up about UGI. I mean, it's absolutely gonna, it's gonna get worse before it gets better because they're still ripping apart some fairly large sections of town. And then here pretty soon they're gonna start going down Main Street. But the nice thing is when it's all done, our roads should be pretty nice in the way our ordinance is written. They need to restore most of these roads from curb to curb where they've ripped up over halfway. So it's it'll be good.
It will get better, but it's gonna take some time. It'll be in the latter part. So we gotta unfortunately get through the rest of the spring and summer till we get to that point.
Thank you. Health, sanitation, and codes, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight we only have one official item for action and then a second item to kind of share with you regarding the new zoning ordinance, what's taking place. But the first item is the sugar cycle with Taryn. It's a sugar cycle is the agreement between Taryn. Let me see what Taryn's last name. How you say Taryn's last name? Kobayer. I'm saying it wrong. Sorry, Taryn. But I met Taryn. This is an agreement between the borough and Taryn to have 5 locations that she has a tricycle that she goes to the William Street Baseball Field, the South 4th Street Baseball Field, Klein's Lane Multipurpose Field, Furnace Dam Park, and Triangle Park, with the hours of operations from Monday through Sunday, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. An agreement will be in effect from April 1st, 2025 and expires on March 31st, 2026. Any concerns or questions about this agreement? The committee voted 3-0 to recommend it to full council.
I would assume that she's going to have the proper insurance documents.
Yes. Also, you brought up another point, health-wise from our health sanitation codes officer, Gary Ritter. She
Should be
is
health inspected.
also very compliant because it's prepackaged novelty. Is that right?
Yeah. Anyone else have anything? Is there any other? Is this a unique agreement? I feel like this is kind of a unique agreement.
Well, it is kind of unique because this permit request, this transient permit request, kind of, how do I word it?
It was unique.
It was unique from the beginning. I mean, our codes department, Mr. Reed and Eric had to figure out where this lies, where this falls under. Some questions was, does this fall under like a food truck kind of permit? And it doesn't. And because she had a tricycle, what the discussion was, can she pull up to a parking spot, like outside, like a hot dog vendor?
This is a pedal tricycle.
This is pedal, yep.
So my question would be, what's the difference from this? And we currently have Hanks that goes around with his tricycle and sells things at different
I was not made aware that Hanks had that.
events.
That's new to me.
So if we're making her do it, I'm just curious why he didn't have to go through it. And then, Mr. Solicitor, I mean,
So-
what do you see in other boroughs? This is just like when I saw it coming through and
Yeah.
it's just weird.
Typically, the only reason there's an agreement is my understanding is because nobody has done this before. That typically this would be done via permit and just be enforced through your regular codes department. That's why this is odd. Like you wouldn't need an agreement with the borough. This is just setting hours and
Yeah, Mr. Frosty, I don't think has one of these that drives around town selling him.
no.
No.
But
Mr. Lamberg?
Does it change for the ice place? What's it called again?
Hanks?
Hank's Ice? Does it change that they have a storefront
I would,
versus just a transient?
No, I mean, it would still require the permit to do that. Because they're not in that same place. Like
Okay,
it's a different type of sales, like you would need.
and
a
they're just
permit.
asking for permission for 5 different locations, which
so
is,
Yeah.
one of the races I ran at the cyclocross course, Hank's was set up there, one of the races
yeah, and I've never.
with the cart.
yeah.
That you're referring to.
And I would assume, I thought once a food truck was approved and it was health inspected, it was good.
It doesn't.
I talked to Shane this afternoon because of the Halloween parade, because this vendor's already asked to come to the Halloween parade. I wasn't involved in this conversation other than with Shane today. He said the reason for those 5 facilities are because she wanted to go to the parks when there were games and stuff. And obviously we don't want them to compete against the snack bar. So that's why Community Park's not on there, because we have our own. So it was so that she just couldn't go wherever she wanted to go. She had to, which Hanks, I don't think is technically allowed to go wherever they want to go here. I don't think that's allowed by what our rules say. I had to get permission at the Halloween parade to have food trucks last year from the borough.
So this is binding her to only the certain places
Correct.
unless she's. on
That's what
private
Shane
property.
said today to me on the phone.
And
That
is
makes more
correct
sense
statement.
then.
I believe Hank's goes to private functions. They're not in
Right.
parks and
Which
stuff.
is okay.
Right.
Because it's on a.
Because they're
private-
parked in front of their
Yeah.
business sometimes, or they used to be,
So Mr. Lavenberg, she was just at Yergis Brewing.
as I passed coming
As a-
there, yeah.
Yeah.
For a private event.
Yeah, so, well, she was there because she has an agreement with Mr. Yergi. And so that's where I first met her
Okay.
out there and got to understand more of her business. But for that situation, she's there and she's okay, not on the public street or public.
So I'm going to assume because she's going to parks, that's why we're having this agreement.
Correct.
And
Well, I
I
mean,
think that's the difference.
That's what he said today.
It does, and it does say that specifically, that's why it lists the locations on
Right.
here. So that is, but we're not granting her anything other than the ability to go to those places between these hours.
Correct.
And
Other than that, it says she's required to comply with all borough regulations, which means we could
Correct.
pull whatever ability she has later.
Correct.
And it does state that she can go to other parks, but only if she's invited by an organization. So if they're having an event, they could have her there. So. Was there a motion made?
I don't know that there was a motion made.
I'll make a motion that we approve the agreement.
All right, I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed?
All right, next up on our item, again, not for, was this for official action? I don't think so.
It's not on the agenda.
No, so it's on the, 306 Broad Street, we passed a new zoning ordinance. By any chance, Jess, can you bring up the Google Maps and bring up 306 Broad Street for visual sake? I don't know. I'm throwing you a curveball, sorry. But, so our new zoning ordinance just passed, and this is one of these properties that they're waiting for the zoning ordinance to pass and happen. So at 306 Broad, it was originally slated for a 6-unit apartment building. And if you remember, the parking that was required would have been 2 spots per unit. So that would have been 12 spots. With the new ordinance, they were able to go a little bigger and with 1.5 parking spots. So now it went from 6 units to 12 units. And it is now 1.5 spots with it. So
18.
we as a committee are putting into practice like a best practices of sharing with borough, all of council of what was just approved by the planning commission. So this was approved by the planning commission. It was just brought to our attention. FYI, this met all the requirements. There's nothing that is outstanding or nothing that is a red flag or anything. But in our committee, we said, you know what? Let's try to just pass this along. That's okay. So If you can't get it, Jess, it's okay. Thank you. But anyway, I just wanted to give people a visualization of where it's going to be located and kind of what lot it's taking up. So
So instead of needing 12 parking spaces for 6 units, for 12 units, they need 18 parking spaces.
Correct.
And they are able to provide that with this property?
yes, correct.
Okay.
So it's the property is going to be, the building's going to be on Broad and the parking is going to be back on Adrian Street.
You can zoom out.
I also-
I was just gonna ask.
Is that it?
I
That's
also
the-
wanted to
that's-
add
that's
that
the back of the lot. If you.
That's where the parking.
Yeah.
Oh,
parking
there
will
you
be?
go. That's a good view,
Yeah,
Jess.
so
Thank you.
Right on the other side of that.
And
apartment.
turn left, Jess, if you don't mind. There you go. That's it.
3 stories?
No, it is going to be 3, I believe.
It's 3. So if you
They-
go in the
they can go
backyard
up
there,
to
it's not
4,
there. It's
And
actually
that's in
behind
that section.
And I just want to add, according to Brent Reed, their plans are to make the facade look very similar to what's
right
in
there.
the area.
So it will fit the neighborhood.
Right.
Correct.
So one of the things that I had noted was when we discussed it was just those trees do come out. They will have some other foliage that is on there, some greenery that is on their plans. But those trees are overgrown and I guess they need to come out for this project.
Mr. Brown, you have anything else to
No,
report?
that's it. So, well, besides that, that's all I have for my health, sanitation and committee report. So I'll report progress.
Thank you. Next up is Parks and Recreation. We have not met since our last meeting. Our next meeting will be May 15th. I can report that our Public Works Department is over at the pool, working their tail off, getting those leaks fixed, getting the pool painted. They completely rebuilt the inside of the snack stand, and they're also redoing a bunch of the indoor plumbing over there. They've been ripping out a bunch of the galvanized pipe and replacing it with some new updated PEX. I was over there. I walked through the facility a couple times over the last month or so since they've been working, and it was clogging up all of their water devices and stuff. It was clogging the toilet valves. It was clogging the shower valves, the sink valves, and stuff like that. All the rust inside the old galvanized piping, and some of the old copper pipe was starting to deteriorate pretty good. So as of right now, if everything goes as planned, our pool should definitely be open for the holiday weekend. Mr. Anders?
And we also have the pre-sales of the pool passes occurring.
Great plug.
I just want to say, our Public Works Department saved us a lot of money by doing the floor in the snack stand. The cost savings there, they were able to upgrade some of the tables and stuff and make them more food grade versus or more commercial grade versus what we had. And also with the pool, they think they found a major problem with the leak, and what they're doing to fix it also saved us quite a bit of money, because if you remember, the debate was the budget. I want to say 150,000, but
100, yeah,
it was 150,000, and it's not even close to half of that. I think
it's not even close to like a third of
a
that.
quarter of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
very-
they're doing a fantastic job, and they're saving us money, the Public Works, and we really appreciate it.
Very much so. Appreciate that. And all the guys over there, it's kind of neat going over and watching these guys like take a sense of ownership and pride in what they're doing. So it's pretty neat to see those guys work. What else do we have going? All the bathrooms are open. That's April 1st. I haven't heard any big issues on any of the bathrooms, so I'm sure that people are excited that the bathrooms are open at the parks. And no one has anything, I'll report progress. Next up is public safety, Ms. Baumgartner.
Thank you. Just to share some highlights from our last meeting, we're still addressing parking concerns. That's a big issue that gets raised. In particular, we have had some conversations with the school district to talk about a general approach to alleviating the traffic issues or the parking issues that have arisen from the student population parking in the neighborhoods. So that's an ongoing conversation. I did see a message come out from the principal about sharing some reminders with students and their families to try and be respectful of the neighborhood when they are parking. The other thing I want to share is Chief Priest earned his bachelor's, so congratulations to him. Oh, just to go back to police, they also reported, and this is in the minutes, that they're switching their reporting system. And so you'll see some changes to the reports as you're comparing them across years. You might notice there are differences, and it's just because the reporting system is a little bit different. Yeah, I'll wrap it up there. Okay. If there are any additional questions related to our topics, I'm happy to discuss those with you. Our next meeting will be May 14th at 9 a.m. Report progress.
Thank you. Next up is General Administration, Mr. Lavenberg.
Thank you. We met on April 16th, and just the one thing I want to point out is there was a workman's compensation audit site visit, and the audit went extremely well. There's just a few minor items, and there's no cost to adjust them, so we always like hearing that. And with that being said, there are no items to take action on, but our next meeting is May 7th at 9 a.m. Progress.
Thank you. Next up, we have Budget and Finance, Mr. Dufresne.
Thank you, Mr. President. You can see in the packet the first quarter 2025 budget performance report and also the significant revenue and expenses for the first half of April. We have one item for official action, and it is the bill list. So it's Resolution 2025-13, resolved by Borough Council to authorize payment of the April 21st, 2025 bill list as follows. Bill list $490,189.61. Payroll number 8, $198,642.38. Payroll taxes $63,235.05. Total of $752,067.04 done this April 21st, 2025. And I put that in the form of a motion.
Motion
Second.
by Mr. Dufresne, seconded by Mr. Lavenberg. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
There's no other items for action. Our next meeting for May is canceled. So our next meeting is Wednesday, June 4th at 11 a.m. in person and via Zoom. Progress.
Thank you. Next up, Community Relations, Planning and Development, Ms. Watt.
Tomorrow begins our meetings with the department heads. We're extremely excited about that. And our next meeting is Tuesday, May 6th at 4:45. And I believe Mr. Anders has agreed to
For May 6th.
Yeah.
Yes.
to be our third. So we will discuss the murals and any updates coming out of those meetings. Progress.
Thank you. Attached are the 1803 House meeting minutes and also the Historical Commission meeting minutes. Next up, we have Personal Appeals Part 2. If anyone has a personal appeal, please approach the podium. Nobody in the audience. Anyone online have a personal appeal? Hearing none. The Borough Manager's Report. So Shane asked if I would talk about some new hires and some returning seasonal employees that he has hired. It's quite a list, and it's actually it's great to see these lists growing, because normally, I guess in the past, we'd get to this point and we'd be still begging for lifeguards and help and whatnot. So I'm glad to see that there's a bunch of people coming out and applying. So these are all contingent upon successful lifeguard training and a Red Cross lifeguard certification. But the following individuals have been hired for the 2025 season as lifeguards. Cameron Martinez, Bryce King, Brian Brown, Gavin Fleck, Christian Pisani, Nora Roberts, and Cole Dobson. For the concession and front desk, Natalie Curran, Evan Shook, Brody McHugh, Ava DePietro, Gianna Lutis, Adriana Thier, and Gabriella Ramos. And then we have quite a few returning employees. For lifeguards, we have Molly Bear. What? Bear? Oh, Marielle, I was reading it down. Catherine Raynock, Max Zantera, Brady McKean, Kiera Martino, Ashlyn Mugavero, Melly Orson, James Raynock, Isabella Jasmine Fluentes, Kea Vandersloos, Megan Martino, Nick Campano. Yeah, Nick Campano. Will Reichert, Corey Campbell, Harper Jones, Deante Squalls, and Sophia Harmon. And then these are two returning concession people that are lifeguards is Jonathan Nemitz and Caton White. And then there's a few here for the concession and front desk. Dawn Kidd, Lindsay Wargo, Ashlyn Mugavero, Caitlin Wolf, Adriana Frankenfield, and Samantha Cruz. And that is that's the only thing that he had to report. Does anyone have any questions for him that you want to see me answer? Good. Under President's business, I have none. We have no executive session. Would someone like to make a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Lavenberg, seconded by
Second.
Ms. Bumgardner. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? 7 ayes. Meeting adjourned at 6:49.